So I went 11-5 when I needed to get 13, 14 right. But I did make some questionable decisions, so I can only blame myself here. But I suppose I can also blame the Dolphins for somehow letting the Bengals, who didn't put up any points last week, score 45 on their home field. But I ain't got nothing else to say. Let's just get right into it. On Christmas morning, the Dallas Cowboys will be playing the Redskins in Washington. The Cowboys, unfortunately, have been eliminated from playoff contention. Though they did lose to the Chargers, it was the Eagles beating the Redskins that sealed the deal for them. Hopefully this was the stepping stone year for the Cowboys so that they can make something of this going into next year. But yeah, they're officially fodder now. They'll be taking on the Redskins, who again lost to the Eagles. The Redskins are still beat up with injuries, therefore they look like shit on the field. What a garbage matchup to start Christmas with. Like, what is this? I'm gonna pick the Cowboys. I don't see them losing to the Redskins. Surely they're not that bad, right? Next, the Lions will be going to Minnesota to play the Vikings. The Vikings managed to take down the New York Giants, but JJ McCarthy will not be playing this game due to a hairline fracture in his right hand. Meanwhile, the Lions managed to lose to the Steelers, which jeopardized their playoff hopes dearly. The Lions aren't eliminated yet, but if they lose this game, they may as well be. Same thing with the Vikings. They're pretty much out of the picture already. I don't see them trampling anybody in the NFC North to get to the playoffs. So no one has to worry about the Purple People Eaters, except for Detroit, of course. As much as I want the Lions to win, they just cannot get rolling. They should have won last week. There was a handful of games this year that they should have won, including this one. I will pick them again. I do think the Lions are the better team here. I don't really see any reason for them to lose here. But yeah, another garbage game for Christmas Day. Next up, the Denver Broncos will be playing the Chiefs in Kansas City. The Broncos finally dropped their 11-game winning streak to the Jacksonville Jaguars, thanks to a couple of turnovers. It's pretty clear that the Broncos' main weakness is their offense. Their defense is what is the reason they're doing so good so far, and their offense can look good at times, but, you know, against the Jaguars, not so much, and that is what led to their downfall. And the Chiefs, even though I predicted this, somehow lost to the Titans. I mean, they did not look good at all. And for the first time in a while, I'm actually going to say that I don't see a way in hell the Chiefs win this game. I got the Broncos giving them a good old spanking on Christmas night. Hopefully it's at least a good game. On Saturday, in case you didn't get any good presents for Christmas and have nothing to do, the Houston Texans will be playing the Chargers. The Texans beat the Raiders, but barely. They barely escaped against the Raiders, which is concerning. That is a team you should have slapped around for 60 minutes. Meanwhile, the Chargers had a good-looking win against the Cowboys, a rare instance where I could say it wasn't just Justin Herbert doing all the work. It actually looked like a team effort. As far as the status of these teams, though, the Texans are struggling to stay afloat. They're doing fine enough to stay in playoff relevancy, but they're not looking like a super dominant team. Meanwhile, the Chargers, nope. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say nothing about the Chargers. You're not supposed to speak on the Chargers' status, their current status. That is how you jinx them. That's how they break stride. So look, I'm just going to pick LA to win this game. I'm going to leave it at that. Another Saturday game, the Baltimore Ravens will be playing the Packers in Green Bay. The Ravens lost after blowing a 15-point lead to the New England Patriots. I don't understand. How do you blow a lead to a team that just blew an even bigger lead the week prior? I don't know, maybe if y'all stop fucking fumbling the ball away, you know, you'll actually seal some of these games. But they aren't alone. The Packers also folded a good lead to the Bears. They were up by 10 with less than 5 minutes left. They lost this game somehow. Also, shout out to Kevin Burkhardt. He's like the new best announcer right now.
Watching downfield, going for it! It is caught! Bears win it!
Neither of these teams can afford any more losses going forward, but unfortunately a loss must be handed out, and I think it's going to the Ravens. This year just wasn't the year. The turnovers, the inconsistency, it's all bad for Baltimore right now. I got the Packers winning this one and putting the Ravens to rest. Finally, on Sunday, the Seattle Seahawks will be playing the Panthers in Carolina. Last Thursday, the Seahawks pulled off an amazing comeback against the LA Rams, coming back from down 16 in the fourth quarter, winning it in late overtime. It was like their first really admirable win all season long. And the Panthers would go on to do pretty much the same thing, defeating a division rival to take back their division. Both of these teams desperately need this win. The Seahawks so that they can stay alive for the number 1 seed, and the Panthers to just stay in the playoff picture. You know, we all don't expect them to do anything in the playoffs, but it would be nice to end their little playoff drought they got going. The Panthers winning this would shake all kinds of shit up in the NFC. The Seahawks are clearly the better team, but the Panthers, we've seen them beat great teams. They just beat the Rams a couple weeks ago, and they're really good at home. I don't know who to pick, guys. This is a really close one here. Fuck, fine. I'll pick the Seahawks. I'll pick the Seahawks to win, because now if they lose, I'll have good reason to talk shit about them. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals will be playing the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cardinals just lost to the Falcons, continuing to be the disgrace in the NFC West. Meanwhile, the Bengals managed to put up 45 points against Miami in Miami. I don't really know who would want to watch this game, even their own fans. Both these teams are eliminated from playoff contention, and they're not so trash to where they're fighting for the number 1 overall draft pick or anything like that. But I think Cincinnati would, could, and should win here. Next, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be taking on the Browns in Cleveland. The Steelers managed to take down the Lions to keep their playoff hopes alive, and also assert that they can beat great teams, if you still want to call the Lions a great team right now. Meanwhile, the Browns went against the Bills and managed to keep the Bills on their toes for the majority of the game before ultimately losing. So essentially, both these teams put up great games against pretty solid teams. Here's the thing though, it's late in the season when the Steelers fold the most, and the Browns tend to beat the Steelers at home a lot. And that is why I'm picking the Browns to win this game, because I just don't see the Steelers breaking tradition. Not now, not anytime soon. Next up, the Jaguars will be taking on the Colts. The Colts got bodied by the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Phillip Rivers had a great game, way better than you could ask of a 44-year-old fucking quarterback. It was the defense of the Colts that sold that game. How you let the Niners drop almost 50 points on you. The offense was absolutely not to blame that game. They'll be taking on a Jaguars team that just ended the Broncos' 11-game win streak, most notably taking advantage of a couple of the Broncos' turnovers to stay on top throughout the game. This is about the last chance for the Colts to get back into playoff position, if you will. They're still clinging to the shred of relevancy that came from their great run at the first half of the season, but no matter what they do or who they go against, they just cannot get back on track. And now they're taking on a Jacksonville team that's starting to heat up after defeating the hottest team in the league right now. I think it's safe to say the Jaguars will be winning this one. Next, you got the Battle of South Florida, Tampa Bay versus Miami. Both of these teams played like complete burger buns last week. Yes, burger buns. Tampa Bay's the top bun, Miami's the fucking bottom bun. But it's more so disappointing if you're Tampa Bay because you had such an electric start to the year and it all disappeared. Wasn't trying to rap. Like, this is what the Buccaneers have come to. This is what they've become in December of 2025, the 2025 season. They lost to the Panthers, losing the division in the process, so now they gotta not only win out, but hope the Panthers lose a game or two. Meanwhile, like I said at the beginning of the video, the Dolphins let the Bengals drop 45 on them at home, the same team that scored 0 points last week. I just can't care about this matchup. I'm gonna flip a coin. Heads for Buccaneers, tails for Dolphins. Heads. There you go. Next up, the New England Patriots will be taking on the New York Jets. The Jets got fucking bullied by the Saints. The Saints of all teams. The most potato team in the NFL just fucking rocked the Jets. Look at this shit. Look at these stats. That tells you everything you need to know. Meanwhile, the Patriots had a nice bounce-back victory against the Ravens. Great comeback in the fourth quarter to win it. And I mean, come on, they're going against the Jets. Need I say anything else here besides Patriots win? Next up, the New Orleans Saints will be taking on the Tennessee Titans. Like I said, the Saints pinned the Jets up against the lockers, stole their lunch money, and then started macking on the girl the Jets had a crush on. Meanwhile, the Titans managed to take down the Kansas City Chiefs, who the Chiefs may not be in prime condition right now, but that's still pretty good for what was the worst team in the NFL. Cam Ward set a franchise record for most passing yards by a rookie QB. Props to him. I really hope they build around him or send him away at some point. I'm not gonna lie, these two teams are equally trash, but I gonna lean slightly over towards the Titans just because of Cam Ward. I understand that the Saints quarterback, who I still don't know the name of as of recording, did pretty well, but I'm going with Cam to win this one.
Is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
Holy shit, this game makes me sick. Ashton Genty managed to keep the Raiders alive in their matchup against the Texans, but of course they would go on to lose that game anyway. Brock Bowers is out for the remainder of the season. Raiders fans better hope this doesn't cut into next season, assuming that matters, assuming they do anything with him that year. Meanwhile, the Giants, I don't even know what the Giants did. I just know they lost to the Vikings. I'm not gonna bother looking up the stats. Pitiful game against the Vikings, Giants. Come on now. I shall pick the Raiders to win because Genty looked good. That's it. I don't care anymore. That's all I gotta say about this shit stain of a matchup. Next up, the Philly cheesesteaks will be taking on the Buffalo Buffalo Bills. Too many food references here. The Eagles defeated the Redskins, but of course we cannot credit them too much for that. It's the Redskins, and you still are coming off of a pretty shitty stretch of bullshit. Meanwhile, the Bills didn't look so great either as they took on the Browns and struggled to defeat them. James Cook, of course, did have a great game, rushing for 110 yards and putting the offense on his back. But of course, we're going to need to see more than that from the Bills going into this game and really going forward. Fortunately for them, they're taking on an even less desirable looking team in the Eagles. The Eagles may have gotten a victory last week, but I'm still not convinced that they have fully returned to their dominant status. They're still, a couple tiers below that, I would say. And it's being played in Buffalo. I'm gonna have to go with the Wild Wings to win this one. Next, you got the potential game of the week. Chicago Bears versus the San Francisco 49ers. Both of these teams coming off of beautiful wins last week. The Bears, late comeback against the Packers. 49ers damn near dropped a 50 burger on the Colts, who they haven't beaten since 2001. The 49ers are hot right now, and to give you an idea of how hot they are offensively, they haven't punted in the month of December. Meanwhile, the Bears, like I said, down 16-6 very late in the fourth quarter. They managed to pull out the victory in a late overtime win over the Packers. Both teams are in playoff contention now, but they are hungry for the number 1 seed of the NFC. And really, what a time for this matchup to come. Two evenly matched teams at the top of the food chain, and on Sunday Night Football, this is cinema. This is cinema right here. As far as my decision on who I think is going to win, as immaculate as that Bears comeback was and the improbability of that victory, the reason that comeback had to happen in the first place was because they were playing like complete peaches throughout the whole rest of the game. It's a 60-minute game, Chicago, not a 10-minute game. And you're taking on a 49ers team who, like I said, did not punt in damn near 3 games. I think it's 2.5 games by now. And it's being played in Levi Stadium. I'm gonna have to go with the 49ers to win here. Bro, if the 49ers manage to walk off with the number 1 seed after being so absurdly beat up and injured throughout the entire season, does that say more about the Niners or more about the NFC? Either way, the fact that they're in this position is that is impressive. And finally, Monday Night Football, the LA Rams will be taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, at first glance, this looks like an easy Rams victory, but we can't do that this time. Falcons tend to pull some funny shit off on Monday night games. We just saw the Rams lose to the Panthers a couple of weeks ago. We just saw how the Rams played on last Thursday night. They did it again. They did that thing where they played great for the first half, and then, towards the back half of the game, they just start to like relax, I guess, and then let their opponents back in it. And this time, their opponents not only got back in it, they went on to win. Stupid. I told y'all to stop doing that shit. And look what happened. Now you no longer control your own destiny in terms of the number 1 seed, at least. Huge drop for the Rams over some shit like that. They're going against the Falcons in Atlanta, who just beat their division rival, the Cardinals. And the Falcons, they do tend to beat, teams that were seemingly way above them. They just had a nice comeback against the Buccaneers a couple weeks ago on a Thursday night game. What an interesting matchup. Do I have the Rams staying strong? Or do I have the Falcons assassinating them, pushing them further down the playoff ranking? I'm going to pick the Rams. I do think they're the better team, but also, again, if they lose, I have a valid reason to talk some shit because I'm going to be hot if I fail this shit by getting 175 correct predictions because the Rams want to lose to the fucking Panthers, Falcons. But anyway, what a fascinating week this should be. Merry Christmas.
Just see those Sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting-a-ting-a-ling. Ring, ding, ding, I'm on. It's a lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.